Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 87 of the Ask the Coach show, where PingSkills answers your table tennis questions. Today, we discuss if you need special rubbers for the new plastic ball, if you can counter a heavy topspin with heavy topspin, and how to move your rubber to a different blade. We also talk about playing a forehand for wheelchair players. Plus, we'll answer a few questions from live viewers who can ask a question using the Q&A app on our Google Plus page. To do this, just go to plus.google.com/PingSkills. As always, Supercoach Alois Rosario is with me to answer your questions. Welcome, Alois.
Good morning, Jeff, and show number 87. Wow, that is 87. Certainly was a bit of a bogey number for the Australians, wasn't it? In cricket.
For the Australian cricket team, every time they were on 87 as a team or an individual, they were a bit worried. They thought they were going to get out.
Yeah, because it was 13 away from the century.
Yes, 13 away from the century. All right, well, let's see what happens on this show then, Alois.
No slip-ups here.
No way. Definitely not. And to make sure of it, let's get into the PingSkills question of the day from yesterday, which is, can Timo Boll and Ma Long win this year's World Doubles Championships?
Yes, I reckon they can. Wouldn't it be great? I think it'd be absolutely super to see Timo win a world individual title. Yeah, I think it can happen, and I think the other Chinese will be quite happy for it too, just, as an aside.
Maybe. Well, definitely possible. I mean, Timo Boll's still a great player. Ma Long, one of the world's best. I mean, yeah, great individual players, and they've played together before, but it is difficult, to win. There's going to be a lot of other good pairs, so it's going to be tough for them, but they've definitely got the ability to win it. So let's keep an eye on it.
Yeah, so that's April in China.
Yeah, you're not far away. That's going to be exciting. On at the same time as the World Rubik's Cube Championships in Brazil, Alois.
Jeff, which one are you going to?
Unfortunately, I can't go to either. Work keeps me busy, but I will be watching a lot of the table tennis. Like, the ITTF does a great job with the streaming of events and stuff. It's really good, and lets you watch things that you wouldn't be able to otherwise.
Yeah, and gee, I mean, and then watching the Rubik's Cube World Championships too, Jeff. That'd be exciting.
It's kind of, although you're going to mock me here, I know, Alice. It's interesting in a way. I mean, because they solve it so quick and it's just a sort of a blur. It's almost too fast to appreciate what's going on during them solving it. Whereas with table tennis, they're trying to slow the game down. They think maybe it's too fast, but I don't think so. I quite enjoy watching it as it is and the rallies and stuff. I think it's great. But the pressure of the Rubik's Cube Championship is what you watch it for, not them solving it. Like, it gets down to the final, they've got 5 solves, and they've just got to do it as fast as they can, and you can see the competitors getting stressed, and it's more the emotional side and whether they can control their emotions and just do what they need to do. So that aspect of it I really like. It's, like watching a final of the World Championships in table tennis. The players are going to be nervous.
Or watching a soap opera, yeah.
Indeed. All right, well, let's move on to the PingSkills question of the day for today, which is, does a home ground make much difference to results in table tennis? Okay, so interesting question. Let us know your thoughts. Leave a comment. Go to pingskills.com and click on the blog link and you'll find this show, and let us know, does a home ground make a difference to results in table tennis? Alrighty, Alois. Now, let's take this question from Brock, who's jumped on and asked a question with the Google Q&A app. He says, I've been watching some Yard Ovo Boulder matches, and I was wondering, can he match the level and beat players like Timo Boll or Ma Lin? Do you think Walden would match that level these players are right now? Brock reckons he would crush them in his prime easily.
Yeah, interesting one. Always an interesting debate. You know, the game has moved on. I mean, the game is faster. The game is has really developed over the last 10 years. Um, I think if Waldner was growing up at this time, he would match them. But if you put his game up against their game, I think these guys are really strong. Maybe he'd not match Bowl. The Chinese players. I think it'd be really tough. But as I said, if he was growing up at this time, he would be able to match them because he was able to do different things, and the Chinese just didn't like playing against him because he was able to do so much and change things up. The Chinese are very good at set plays and set drills, and Waldy used to just be able to do something a little bit different all the time.
Yeah, I agree with you, Alois. Yeah, a lot of people try and compare the eras, but you watch the players now, and it's just so much more powerful, and they're taking the ball earlier and with more topspin, and they're more aggressive and more, not missing many shots at all. So the level is definitely higher. So like you said, if you took Waldner's level back then and he played now, I think he would get crushed. But, like you said, if he grew up in that area, he'd get used to that, or he'd be, part of that momentum and that change in moving the level higher. And, he's proved over the years that, he's one of the best at staying at the top of that curve and always being ahead of everyone else. So, yeah, I agree with you, Alois. I think it's always an interesting topic, and the players that were at the top back then probably would have adapted. All right, now let's talk about a question from Cal, who says, I sit in a wheelchair, and the problem is that the backhand goes very well, but I can't take forehands because I need to move with the wheelchair. So what I choose to do is hit with the backhand. Is there anything I can do to be able to hit a forehand?
Yeah, so Carlo, it's in the chair, the backhand is a lot easier because you're very square onto the table. So playing a backhand, it does become easy. The forehand is more problematic because it's quite difficult to play a forehand, especially if the ball is in this area. When it's out wider, it's much easier. But this middle ball, you'll find most wheelchair players will play that ball with their backhand because it is a lot easier to adapt the wrist to here rather than trying to turn your wrist backwards and cramp your arm in there. So backhands tend to be cover more of the table when you're in the wheelchair, and just playing the forehand when the ball gets out a little bit wider and give yourself a little bit more space. Depending on your disability too, and your movement, some wheelchair players can get around quite well and play there, but again, it depends on your disability and what your mobility is with the upper half of your body as well. Some of the higher functioning players will move their chair as well, so they'll just turn their chair a little bit and move it around, and even actually move around the court, which makes it easier for them. But yeah, if you're quite stationary, then the backhand in this sort of area is much easier, and then once it gets past there, that's when you start to play some forehands.
Great. All right. Thanks for that, Alois. Hopefully those tips helped you out, Calais. So, yeah, don't be afraid to use, the backhand quite a lot, and even if it is slightly over your forehand side, and then, try the forehand on those wider ones. All right. Thanks for those tips, Alois, and thanks for the question, Calais. All right. Now, let's take a question from Johan, who says, you talk about by making a heavy topspin, you will neutralise your opponent's spin. Does the same hold true for backspin or side spin? If you get a really fine and fast brush, will it counter their spin in the same way as a heavy topspin?
Yeah, so Johan here is talking about if someone serves a long serve to you, what we recommend is that you really topspin it and brush it up to counteract the spin. So Johan's saying, can you also do that by brushing it heavily with backspin or side spin to counteract their spin? Well, you can, and it is something that you can try. The only problem is that if they've got a heavy spin on it and you're doing a heavy backspin, you can't hit the ball very fast. So when you're playing backspin on the ball tends to float a little bit more. So you have to be very, very accurate, and even more so if you're wanting to put side spin on the ball. So think a little bit more about that stroke. It is possible to do that or that on the return of serve to counteract the heavy spin on the ball, but the safer shot and the shot that's going to get you into a better position in the rally is a top spin stroke, because you can hit that harder and then you're going to put your opponent on the defense. If you do this, if they cope with that backspin, then they're attacking at you and you're on the defense for the rest of the rally.
Okay, interesting, Alice. Now, I read the question slightly differently, because often, say someone serves a side spin serve to you, Alice. I've heard you mention a few times that if you top spin it, you can counteract that side spin by, really brushing it finely, so the side spin won't have as much effect on the ball. So when they serve a backspin or a side spin, or when they serve a side spin, yeah, you can counteract that side spin a little bit by using an aggressive brushing forehand top spin.
Yeah, so, you definitely can. Yeah, you definitely can. So if they
what
serve
about with backspin? If they serve a heavy backspin, can you counteract that backspin with the same motion?
Yeah, you can counteract it, but the motion needs to be a little bit more vertical, so that you can lift the backspin. But still, if you brush the ball really heavily, then you're going to be able to counteract that. If you just do a soft lift, the backspin is still going to be able to take control. But if you do a heavy contact and a heavy top spin, then you're going to counteract that heavy backspin as well.
All right, great. All right, so hopefully that answers your question, Johan. If it doesn't, let us know. Thanks for the question.
Now, Johan said that he wasn't able to watch today because he's got to go to work. So hopefully you're catching up with this on the watching it.
There's a lot of ways you can catch up with the show, Alois. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on our website, PingSkills.com. Click on the blog link. Or you can watch the show using iTunes or your favorite podcast app if you use Android. And if you want to find out the link to listen to it on iTunes or using your podcast, again, just go to PingSkills.com/blog and you'll see one of the episodes. And each episode will have the link there. All right. Let's have a look at a question from Lucas Alois, who's also jumped on with the Google Q&A app. And he says, on Friday, I was playing matches in my club. I was 2-love down when I was playing my first match. But then I started telling myself, I'm better than this guy. I can beat him easily. I won the game 3-2 after that. Have you done this before?
Yeah, I have, and it's sometimes it's just a little bit of a mindset of what the way that you're thinking, and it can really help. I mean, it's not a matter of being of having arrogance and saying, oh, I'm better than this guy. It's just starting to believe in your ability and starting to believe in what you can do. So, as long as you're realistic about it, I think it can make a difference. Like if I went out and played Waldner and I said, I can beat this guy, I'm better than this guy, that's probably not going to happen. But if there's someone that, you're competitive with and you go in there with a positive attitude, I think that really helps. If you go in there with an attitude of, oh, gee, I hope I don't lose to this guy, I think this guy's going to beat me today, then that will probably happen too.
Excellent. Excellent advice. And thanks for the question, Lucas. Okay, Brock has another question for us, Alice. He goes, do you know a special tip to improve your backhand and forehand smash?
Yeah, so we've got lessons on the forehand and backhand smash in our strokes and techniques section of the website. We recommend that most of the time you get around and play a forehand smash. If you've got enough time for the ball, if the ball's up high enough, then you've got enough time to get around and play a forehand smash most of the time.
Yeah, great, Alois. So the number one tip for your backhand smash is to use your forehand.
That's it. You're right. and and then I suppose the biggest thing with your smashing is the preparation. So using that time that the ball is in the air to get back and be prepared, both with your legs and with your bat. I see a lot of players trying to smash. The ball's up in the air. They almost get mesmerised like a rabbits in spotlight, and they stand there and watch the ball, and the ball bounces, and then suddenly it's on top of them, and they're trying to smash. So really think about your movement while the ball's up in the air. Get into position so that you can make those smashes. That's my tip.
Excellent, great tip. All right, next question is from Matt, who says, I was just wondering if a change of rubber is necessary for the new plastic balls, as I haven't played with them yet. I've seen many stores selling rubbers that sell plastic ball ready rubbers, and some that aren't plastic ready.
Yeah, you know what that's called? That's called marketing. So, there's no need to change. Though it's a perfect opportunity for manufacturers to sell you another sheet of rubber. Just get in there, use what you're using. It really won't make that much difference. Over time, rubbers will keep developing. But yeah, there's no need to go out and buy a new sheet of rubber. Stick with what you're using. Otherwise, you're just going to fork out some more money to the manufacturers. No need.
Okay, great. All right, thanks for the question, Matt. The next question is from Ernest, who says, is it possible to move our old rubbers to a new blade?
Yeah, so you can. So that's just a blade, by itself. This is an old one that I used to use, surprisingly.
What type of blade was that, Alois?
That was I think it was a double fish blade. Yeah, double fish blade. Yeah.
So that wasn't your old favourite blade?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't my old favourite blade. No, just an old double fish blade.
And what was your old favourite blade?
That was a butterfly power drive.
Ah, the power drive. Yes. Okay. Anyway, I digress. Back to the question.
Yes. So that's what a bat looks like without the rubber on it. So you can take the rubber off. You just start to peel underneath here and just work slowly all the way around your racket. I'll just grab another one. So this one here. So you just lift up underneath there, and you just work your way around the racket. Keep lifting slowly, and eventually you'll work your way through and get the rubber off. Be really careful though, because sometimes the rubber sticks really hard, just depending on how they've been put on and what type of glue they've used. So once you've got it off there, then you've just got a sheet of rubber that you can just stick to a new blade. So yeah, and we've got a lesson on putting rubber onto a blade, or attaching gluing rubber on. So quite a simple process. Just putting some glue on both the back of the rubber and on the blade, letting it dry, almost touch dry, and then rolling them on. The only thing that you need to be thinking about is that if you take the rubber off this bat and put it on this bat, it might be a different size. So the bats might be a different size, so the rubber might not fit. So it's worth just checking that before you think about changing.
Okay, so as long as the blade is the same size or smaller, you won't have any problems. And if it was a little bit smaller, I've actually seen people move the rubber up the top so it covers the top bit and then might leave a small gap at the bottom. I guess that's an option if you're moving it to a bigger blade.
Yeah, that's right. So they'd attach the rubber from here up, and then there'd be a gap between the handle and the rubber down the bottom there. So yeah, that's possible too. Might feel a bit blur, but yeah, you can do that.
Great. All right, I'll put a link into the video that shows how to change to a new rubber, and you can just adapt that for using an existing rubber. So thanks for the question, Ernest. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. That wraps up show 87, 13 away from 100. And make sure you visit pingskills.com, sign up for our free newsletter, and thank you, Alois.
Yep, and Brock said that he wants to see your dance moves, Jeff.
All right, let's get it going.
Take it away. See you,
See you, everybody. Bye. That's the best I got, Alois. See you, everybody.